Scorpio, you begin with a feeling of isolation, the cancellation of last-minute plans, the almost irrational desire to see no one, the feeling that the universe has invisibly pulled the handbrake on your life. You look at the walls of your living room, at the ceiling of your bedroom, and wonder if you're falling behind, if the world is happening outside, vibrating at high speed, and you're just watching from the window, disconnected from everything. There's a weight in the air, an inexplicable fatigue that doesn't go away with sleep, an almost violent and magnetic need for deep retreat. Many around you may be demanding your presence, sending messages asking why you disappeared, why you're so quiet, why you suddenly prefer the sofa, your sweatshirt, and the silence instead of the hustle and bustle that used to be part of your routine. And you, deep down, may feel a bitter pang of guilt. Perhaps you think you're losing your magnetism, that you're depressed, stagnant, or that you've definitively lost control of your own narrative. But what if I told you that this isolation is not, by any means, a symptom of failure? What if everything you thought you knew about this period of seclusion, about this extreme exhaustion, was just the surface that your mind desperately tries to rationalize? The truth, the one that resonates deep within the darkest waters of your instinct, is much more complex and, in a way, uncomfortable to face. There is an invisible mechanism operating right now, at this very moment in your life. A greater, colossal force, call it God, the universe, the divine source, that has literally locked the doors from the outside. You are being kept at home. And pay close attention to this. You are not being isolated as punishment. You are not being forgotten by life. You are being kept at home for a matter of extreme, urgent, and non-negotiable divine protection. Think coldly about what would happen if you were out there right now, with that raw, chaotic, confused, and intensely transitioning energy pulsing within your chest at this very moment. Scorpio, you know better than anyone that your intensity cannot be contained in any container. At this point in your timeline, you are undergoing one of the most aggressive, visceral, and silent metamorphoses of your existence. Your old skin is cracking, your old values are crumbling, and the sheer process of shedding skin leaves any creature brutally vulnerable. In the wild, a scorpion molting seeks out the darkest, narrowest, most inaccessible crevice it can find in the rock. Because if it is left exposed in the desert, while its new armor is still soft and translucent, it will be devoured. It is destroyed by smaller predators that would not stand a chance against it in its final form. God is keeping you at home now because your new armor hasn't hardened yet. And what's out there today isn't worthy of witnessing your vulnerability. More than that, much of what's out there still vibrates at the frequency of your old self. If you were to leave home now, if you were to force yourself to socialize just to please, to go to those same places you used to frequent, to sit at the same tables with the same people and listen to the same empty conversations, the energetic friction would be unbearable. You would end up using your poison to destroy scenarios that no longer serve you. You would explosively burn bridges, implode relationships, and create unnecessary chaos simply because your expanded soul no longer tolerates the superficiality of the past. Therefore, retreat is a form of containment. Your home has become your cocoon. And the cocoon isn't a waiting room or a prison. It's the alchemical laboratory where your sharpest, most lethal, and brilliant version is being forged in the darkness. You felt this contradiction pulsing through your veins, haven't you? An immense, almost desperate desire for something gigantic to happen in your life, mixed with a paralyzing laziness that prevents you from taking a single step beyond the threshold of your front door. This is because your physical body, your spiritual hardware, is draining all your vital energy for inner work. The renovation isn't on the facade. It's happening in the deepest foundations of your psyche. You can't organize a gala banquet upstairs while the supporting beams are being violently replaced in the dark basement. The paralyzing stillness is, in fact, the price of your restructuring. However, A dense fear whispers in your ears during sleepless nights. The fear that by remaining immersed in this sepulchral silence for so long, you will end up dissolving into it. The fear that your house will transform from a sanctuary of healing into a permanent hiding place. You look out the window and wonder how long this seclusion will last, whether when you finally decide to open the door again, there will still be a world outside waiting for you, or if you have simply forgotten how to exist amidst the human noise. It's terrifying for someone who likes to be in control like you, not to have absolute dominion over when the curtain will open again. The feeling of being at the mercy of an invisible clock, dealing daily with the ghosts that the dense silence of your room insists on amplifying until they become deafening. These ghosts that visit you at home are not just ordinary memories. They are fragments of who you were, echoes of past decisions that still hurt, faces of people you loved viscerally and who wounded you in equal measure. They sit on the couch with you when the TV is off. They walk the dark hallways of your house, because when divine force keeps you in the silence of your own home, it takes away all your escape routes. You no longer have the seductive chaos of the outside world to use as a distraction or excuse. All that remains is the brutal mirror of your own mind, demanding that you face with open eyes exactly what you have spent the last few years trying to bury. And this confrontation is lonely, cruel, and painfully necessary. You look straight into your own shadows and for the first time in a long time realize there is nowhere to run. The discomfort of having nowhere to run and the uncertainty of whether you're just healing or burying yourself alive. It was while searching for answers to this that I found this digital book. The material is called The Divine Wisdom That Guides Your Zodiac Sign to a Purposeful Life. And I don't see it just as a manual, but as an essential mental posture, an anchor for this exact moment of isolation and purging you're experiencing. It's a surgical tool to develop the ability to go even deeper, to not stop at the surface of your own silence, to understand the architecture of this divine retreat without being consumed by the overwhelming anxiety of what's happening outside. You are now in this raw state, with an open heart, processing the weight of these words, recognizing the energy of these four walls that protect you, and at the same time, corner you with your own truths. This discomfort churning your stomach right now is the purest sign that your mind wants answers, wants a solid foundation so it doesn't get lost in its own regenerative darkness. The link is in the first pinned comment. But be aware, this content may be taken down. Click now to download your copy. Tell me in the comments, what was the last social opportunity, invitation, or obligation you declined in the last few weeks simply because you preferred the quiet of your home? And what was the real feeling in your body the second after saying no? Saying no to the outside world is ironically the first absolute and non-negotiable yes you give to your own integrity. And that's exactly why the physical space of your home has become so dense, so full of meaning. Think of your bedroom, your living room, not just as bricks and concrete, but as a living, pulsating extension of your own energy field. Scorpio possesses the mystical and often exhausting ability to absorb, filter, and transmute the energy of environments. But this ability exacts an absurdly high toll on your physical and mental health. When you were freely circulating in the world, you functioned uninterruptedly as a psychic sponge for everyone around you. You read between the invisible lines. You picked up on envy, disguised as friendly compliments. You quickly noticed who was lying, who was smiling while trying to suck your light, who was playing a hidden game of manipulation. All of this has overloaded your neural and spiritual network. Your psychic radar has entered a state of thermal collapse due to chronic overstimulation. The divine intervention that keeps you secluded in your home now is, in fact, an intensive care unit for spiritual detoxification. You desperately need to expel the emotional toxins that didn't even belong to you, but that you dragged inside yourself at the end of each exhausting day. By locking the front door and shutting yourself in your space, you cut the sharp blade of the invisible cords that connected you to dozens of energy vampires. It is for this exact reason that you may be feeling an almost obsessive, sometimes irrational need to clean your house, to tidy drawers that no one sees, to donate clothes, to ruthlessly throw away objects, or simply to lie on the cold floor on your back in complete silence. Your body is purging, and Scorpio's cleansing is never a mere aesthetic tidying. It's a burning of confidential files. It is the incineration of everything that has rotted in its magnetic field and that was occupying a sacred space that must now remain empty. However, there is a disturbing paradox in this insatiable quest for purification. As you discard what no longer serves you, be it objects, habits, or people, the empty space within you and within your home begins to echo. And it is precisely in this monumental void that the greatest challenge of your seclusion resides. The universe shielded and isolated you so that finally you could hear the only voice that was constantly being stifled by the incessant noise of other people's problems, your own naked and raw intuition. But listening to your own intuition without the masks, without the buffers, and without the filters of romantic illusion can be completely devastating to your rational mind. You begin to perceive on silent nights undeniable truths about relationships you maintained out of pure convenience or fear of abandonment. You see with almost painful clarity the exact places where you were sabotaging yourself, where you swallowed crumbs of affection and respect while by birthright you deserved to sit at the full banquet. The pain caused by this clarity is not gentle, it's sharp, piercing. It's like suddenly turning on a very bright spotlight in a room that's been dark for years, and finally seeing all the dirt, the cracks, and the structural flaws you've swept under the rug. Once you see the truth about your past choices, blindness becomes impossible. You can no longer pretend you don't know. And the immense psychic responsibility of what to do with this clarity crushes the center of your chest, leaving you paralyzed in an agonizing limbo between the version of yourself that died yesterday and the one you are forced to embody tomorrow morning. The pain of this sudden clarity, the paralyzing shock of seeing your own flaws and truths without the comfort of external anesthesia. It was while searching for answers to this that I found this digital book, The Divine Wisdom That Guides Your Zodiac Sign to a Purposeful Life. Is not a literary embellishment or a mere superficial astrology guide. It is the exact practical extension needed for this moment when Scorpio's lethal intuition speaks louder than any reasoning. But the fear of destroying your own structures threatens to sabotage your transformation. It gives you the mental map to convert this overwhelming pain of clarity into an unwavering power of execution, taking all that chaotic emptiness of your isolation and transforming it into high-octane fuel for your new and relentless phase. You'll find the link in the pinned comment, but hurry, because not everyone will get there in time. Go now and discover the path that can change the way you see everything. The fuel for this new phase that is approaching demands a level of purity and focus from you that you have never, in your entire life, been taught to seek. For a long time, perhaps since your youth, you have functioned almost exclusively driven by crises. The nature of Scorpio is to be the absolute master at surviving catastrophe. You know how to swim easily in turbulent and dark waters that would drown anyone else. You know how to resolve emotional and financial dilemmas under a level of pressure that would make other signs beg for mercy. Your primitive survival instinct has been honed so many times on the stone of suffering that deep down, secretly, you ended up becoming addicted to the dirty adrenaline of combat mode. You learned to extract your life force from pain, rejection, betrayal. The incessant need to prove to yourself and the world that absolutely no one has the power to destroy you. But I want you to ask yourself a difficult question now, looking at the impenetrable silence of this room where you are confined. Who are you when there is no one, absolutely no one, trying to drown you? Who is Scorpio when the Cold War ends, the enemies retreat, and he finally returns home in peace? This is, without a doubt, the most terrifying revelation that the intelligence of the universe is forcing you to digest through this period of introspection. God is keeping you locked inside because your war, the one you fought for years, is over. The long and exhausting cycle of extreme survival has reached its natural end. However, your physical body and your central nervous system remain addicted to cortisol, addicted to daily stress, lurking in invisible trenches, always waiting for the next blow, the next betrayal, the next disappointment. You feel a floating anxiety, a buzzing in the back of your mind, because there is no dragon for you to slay today. And that's where the invisible danger lies. Lacking an external enemy to justify your armor, your complex mind runs the grave risk of fabricating an internal enemy. Lying in the dark, you begin to ruthlessly search for unreal flaws in yourself, to doubt your own worth, searching for emotional cracks where there is solidity, creating paranoia and tragic scenarios in your head just to have something dense to fight with. The monotonous quiet of your home becomes almost unbearable because it abruptly rips away your most familiar identity, the identity of the wounded warrior, the chronic survivor. The divine plan has locked you in your house not to punish you with boredom, but to teach you, perhaps for the first time, to exist within peace without believing that peace is a trap waiting to be triggered. Isolation is showing you that true and unbreakable power is not only that which rises bloodied from the rubble of betrayal, but that which builds an impenetrable castle on solid ground, without feeling the slightest need to set fire to its own foundations every 6 months, just to feel the thrill of rebuilding everything from the ashes. It is a profound recalibration of an almost violent instinct, because it completely destroys your dangerous comfort zone, which has always been based on emotional pain. You are being surgically taught by the universe to receive love without suspecting the subtext, to accept ease without seeking the hidden price, to rest your eyes and body without carrying the world's guilt on your shoulders. And that hurts. It hurts much more at a cellular level than any external battle you've ever fought, because it requires you to retract your venomous claws, lower your guard, and let the universe's guiding force take care of you, even if only for a fraction of time. This cruel difficulty of lowering my guard and learning to exist in calmness without the destructive addiction to war and chaos. It was while searching for answers to this that I found this digital book. The guide, the divine wisdom that guides your zodiac sign to a purposeful life, acts as a precise and perfect bridge to cross this terrible emotional abyss. It helps you, through mental keys, to permanently disarm these old and obsolete defense mechanisms, allowing you to stop waging a vicious battle against yourself in an attempt to find true peace. It is the indispensable tool a Scorpio needs to have in hand to accept temporary vulnerability without ever losing their colossal strength, understanding their monumental divine role without the toxic need to bleed or suffer for it. The link is in the first pinned comment. The last copies are running out. Click now and begin your journey towards the clarity and genius you deserve. And when you, finally exhausted from fighting the tide, give in and stop fighting for your own peace, something majestic and almost magical begins to happen in the invisible gears that move the fabric of your life. That immeasurable energy you spent daily just trying to guess and anticipate the cruel intentions of others, trying to protect your heart from lies, trying simply to hold your breath in emotionally polluted environments, that monumental energy is not lost. It returns to you in its entirety, It swiftly returns to the hard core of your being, and the physical manifestation of this return is almost inexplicable. At first, in the silence of your room, you feel it like a low fever, a vibrant warmth spread in the center of your chest. Then, over the days at home, this warmth transforms, hardening and becoming a cold, clear and implacable certainty about your future. Being at home loses its character as punishment, as social exile. It instantly transforms into your sacred temple of incubation. You, sitting in the same armchair where you once felt anxiety, suddenly begin to understand the invisible threads of destiny, the clear and crystalline reason behind each rejected invitation, each years-long friendship that inexplicably cooled for no apparent reason, each professional or romantic opportunity that seemed incredibly perfect on paper, but which, for some mysterious reason that previously frustrated you, didn't work out. None of this was a loss. The universe wasn't taking things away from you, it was fiercely cleaning the stage. The greater force was pushing out of the spotlight all the supporting actors who no longer possess the structure, loyalty, or depth to play any role in your next brilliant season of life. Sweeping away the old scenery, removing the excess, clearing your vision so that your true masterpiece can be staged without mediocre interference. In this moment of ultimate stillness, pajamas sprawled on the sofa, your phone finally on silent, free from the tyranny of notifications, holding a cup in your hands while the world outside frantically seeks validation, you are undeniably the most dangerous and powerful creature of the zodiac. Because you are not distracted, you are accessing the primordial roots of your own creative and destructive energy. The venom that once served solely as a weapon to defend against external attacks is undergoing inner refinement, being alchemized in the laboratory of your spirit into a rare and powerful medicine capable of healing the flaws of your own soul. Your stinger is resting, and those who don't know you might think this is weakness, but it is not. It is absolute, sovereign, and unquestionable self-mastery. His unwelcome absence in the outside world is already being felt, and very much so.